Thank you very much to Sarah for that. Next we have Yael Kahn, who's an Israeli anti-Zionist activist.
It's quite impressive to see a full room, quite a big room. When I went for a search to find my identity, I didn't realize that my identity was actually linked to people I never met. So as an Israeli, I found out that it was the Palestinians that were part of my childhood, although I never met them. It was when I found out about the Nakba, I found out that the home I was brought up in was on the ruined and lost lands of Palestinians that were forced to become refugees, now living, some of them in Gaza, in Yemeni refugee camp, some of them in the in the West Bank. When I realized about the Nakba, it never occurred to me, even for 1 minute, that I could be a Zionist after that. After you find out what is the foundation of this state, that is all at the expropriation, the theft, the ethnic cleansing of entire people, it's never occurred to me that I could be, again, a Zionist. So for some years I was campaigning, like many other Israelis, not many, well, few other Israelis. It's quite important actually. We tried to talk about the occupation, the 67 occupation, even that the Israeli society was in denial. The Israeli, in self-denial, believed that Palestinians were happy to be occupied, they were liberated. They couldn't even accept the concept that the Palestinians are not happy about it. So when the first Intifada, and that's really significant because we're talking tonight about from the Nakba to the Intifada. So when the first Intifada started on the 27th of December 1987, the Israeli society was in shock. Suddenly they realized the Palestinians, after all, were not that happy about being occupied. It took 6 months or so for the Israelis to get over that, but for 6 months you could talk with almost every Israeli about not just the occupation, about the Nakba, about the right of return, about all the issues that matter. But that didn't last because after all, Israelis benefit, we all benefit from not just the occupation, we benefit from the Nakba. We benefit from the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians, which is still ongoing. So then the Palestinian first Intifada died out, and one of the biggest disasters for the Palestinians came was the Oslo Agreement, Oslo Accord. At the time I wrote an article, I titled it "Paving the Way to Apartheid." What I meant was that the West Bank would become Bantustans. But I didn't really mean that that was the first time that the territories under Israeli rule would become apartheid, because the Israeli society was always apartheid. There was no mixing, there was no interaction between Jews and Palestinians. We lived completely different life, different areas, different education. So it might have, obviously I was right in a sense of what happened to the West Bank, but I didn't mean to actually imply that the Israeli society is apartheid everywhere, including against the Palestinian citizen of Israel. So that leads me, how do we get to the Israeli public? How do we get to them to understand that this is not acceptable? And one of the strongest messages is actually, might surprise some, but it is the BDS. This is how we communicate to them that their war crimes, that their actions against the Palestinians, the destruction of the Palestinian people, are not acceptable, and that the international community will not allow it to happen. And so I believe that we really have to work really hard, and we are really privileged in working hard on this, because being a solidarity movement with the Palestinian people is a privilege. We are working against one of the biggest injustices in the recent history, and we are working also with wonderful people who, in spite of all the constant Israeli attacks, they haven't lost the spirit. Here it is. Here in Gaza, under siege, when people have no access to colors, no access to food. And what a beauty of expression of the wish, the will, the struggle for justice. And this is the people we are struggling with. Thank you.